Do you have a guy or a couple of guys that you look at and say, I think he's a sleeper, and I think he's gonna, surprise a couple of people and actually make this 53-man roster at the end of the summer?
I do. I have a couple actually, and my first is I want to preface this by saying I am fascinated by punters this offseason now. I think when I go to training camp, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over and I'm going to watch the punters.
You missed you were like right after the Presley Harvin Jordan Berry summer where they competed all summer, like Presley Harvin's rookie year. That was
Yep.
the most exhilarating training camp battle I've ever been a part of. Like, so you
Yeah.
should be fully embracing the punter competition. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, because like I don't know, just feel like there's a lot of pressure. These guys like almost never actually kick against live like competition or anything. You don't actually see. You're kind of have to guess a little bit. You're focusing on like mechanics and stuff, but either way, I'm looking at Adam Korsak. I believe I can't remember if
Rookie
he's a
tryout.
rookie tryout. No, he didn't get signed. But punter from Rutgers, Ray Guy Award winner, which is the best punter in college football, averaged 44 yards per kick. 40% of his kicks went inside the 20. Another 40% were caught for touchbacks. Like this guy can really boot it. I think people become kind of disillusioned with Presley Harvin. I know Brandon Mann was brought in too, so there'll be a three-way battle at punter. And I don't know, I'm intrigued by I don't know the new punt god. I guess the new because this guy also he started I think all 4 years at Rutgers and he
Yeah.
was immediately one of the best punters in the country in college. So I'm fascinated by this guy. I'm not rooting for him, but I'm interested to see how he pushes them and just I'm fascinated by the punter battle. It's not the most important position battle out there, but I think it's gonna be interesting.
Hey, in the words of Pat Narduzzi, the most difficult play in football is the
Most
punt.
important.
Most
Most important.
important play in football is the punt. The word, quote unquote, from the
It's
head
the
coach of the Pitt Panthers.
only play where you play both offense and defense on the same play.
It's the most important play in football. There it is.
Right.
I agree. I think Korzak's a name that people should expect to make the roster at this point. I think Presley Harvin's going to have the upper hand going into the summer. They're not looking at him as, oh, we're getting rid of Presley Harvin, but they're definitely looking for a competition. This is going to be the third year of Harvin's rookie deal. He's got this year and next year. If you could go young while you can. I don't necessarily think Braden Mann is like a real part of this competition anymore after you bring in Korzak, just because like if you're gonna replace Harvin, you're gonna replace him with somebody who's here for cheap and for the next 4 years. And Adam allows you to do that. What I like about him, and I'm also very worried about it at the same time, is that Australian run up to the line before you punt it style. I think it's super cool. And if it works, awesome. I'm not necessarily convinced that it's going to work in the NFL, like at least long term. Like, how long can you get away with it before Bill Belichick or John Harbaugh figures out how to block that punt every single time? But for right now, I mean, it works. Like the guy, he had the most punting yards in NCAA history, which I thought was extremely impressive. He's like you said, the Ray Guy Award winner. Everybody's going to point out for the next 6 months that Presley Harvin was also the Ray Guy Award winner coming out of college. And he was that, like could throw touchdown passes, giant punter. Everybody was super excited about him. So it's a little tarnished in Pittsburgh, unfortunately. But I agree. I think that that's a name to watch. I think that punter competition is definitely real. It's going to be so exciting. You'll get guys, wait till we get to training camp, and you'll get some people who like religiously show up just to tweet the distance and the hang time of these punts. And obviously everything's unofficial, but there is nothing like a punting competition. Nothing like the kicking competition. Cool, whatever. Maybe there's one between Boswell and Potter who's coming in here out of Clemson. No, the punting competition is going to be real. They're going to spend a lot of time doing it, which is awesome. You never watch special teams, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, I was going to say, usually special teams is like the part of practice where you can kind of chat with people. Yeah, you take some time off, you chat with people, you go eat something, whatever. But no. We're going to be locked in on special teams. Danny Smith will have my full attention for all of training camp.
Danny Smith's going to be a rock star during training camp. I'm so excited for good old Danny Smith chilling, after talking about these guys after practice. 100%. All right, who else you got there?
So this is I think this is just a rookie invite guy. But James sorry, I'm going to butcher his name. Nawayam.
Yeah.
Not Naiwa.
Yeah, no, I know who you're
Uh,
saying. I don't know how
def-
to say it.
Defensive lineman from Merrimack College. I love his size, 6'5", 305 pounds. Just a position to need at nose tackle. Like they need some depth there. I think his size alone is going to earn him a little bit of leeway, even if he's still kind of a raw product and needs to come along a little bit. Making that leap from, I believe, the FCS to all the way up to the NFL, that's difficult
Yep.
for anyone. But I just think that he's going to get plenty of opportunities to play and see the field a little bit and get some good reps. And I'm just excited to see what he can do at that size and how he can kind of help this team plug up the middle a little bit,
Yeah.
especially because, run defense, and it felt like they kind of got pushed around at certain times last year. So they'll be open to solutions along the defensive line, especially in the interior.
Yeah, I think that's a good name to watch. It'd be really cool to watch an FCS guy. I believe that's where Merrimack plays. Make the team, like you said, big guy, plugs up the middle, able to play defensive end, defensive tackle, and nose tackle, which I really like. The Steelers are going to look for options there. Could be a guy to compete with a guy like Montravius Adams or Braden Fajoko or Armand Watts, who none of them I think are guaranteed to make the roster at this point. I'm going to stick along the same lines here, and I'm going to go David Perales. If I'm saying that last name right, I never know. We talked about him on Monday. The dude's walking out of college in 33 games, 38 tackles for loss, and 23 sacks, plus an interception. Like,
Yeah.
you can't have a better stat line than that as an undrafted free agent. He's an edge rusher. I think the Steelers are still looking for a fourth edge rusher, even if it's Nick Herbig as the third. And I get that everybody wants to talk about, Herbig should play off ball linebacker. The Steelers look at him as a defensive or as an edge rusher. They're going to utilize him as an edge rusher, at least to start his career. So I think Herbig's got a chance to be that third guy. And then Perales has a chance to beat out Quincy Roche as that fourth guy, maybe play some special teams. But dude, if you're playing 33 games in college football and you're getting over a tackle for loss per game, that is beyond impressive to me. Like you're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, the production is like too much to ignore.
Yeah.
This guy it seemed like he was almost playing, he was a senior playing JV or something like that.
Yeah,
It was,
exactly. The third guy that I have is like a big sleeper that I think possibly, and this is a big possibly, but I'm going to toss him out there because the Steelers like their, they like to let that one guy again. You missed it. This is the summer before you showed up. Matthew Sexton, Cheddar Bob, aka Cheddar Bob. Nearly, if it wasn't for a muffed punt in the final preseason game, this guy was making the roster. Like there was no questions about it. He was a stud all offseason. Mike Tomlin loved him. And then he goes into that final game. He muffed a punt, and he was never heard from again, unfortunately. That's how close these lines are drawn. I think Jordan Byrd's going to be along that same lines, a return specialist. I don't think the Steelers are all in on giving it just to Calvin Austin or Gunnar Olszewski. I think they're going to look for the best option available. I think if Jordan Byrd could come in here and prove like, hey, man, I'm a return man. Like Steven Sims made the roster as a return man last season after week 3, I believe. Jordan Byrd could do that same thing. I think this is a much farther, prediction or whatever. But right now I'm going to add him to the list as well.
Yeah, I like that. They didn't draft any wide receivers. There'll be a chance for some. I think I saw someone say they did not pick up a wide receiver. They picked up a lot of returners. A lot of
Yes.
rookie returners. So they're clearly looking for a solution at special teams with Steven Sims gone. So I like that one a lot. I think that's a good pick.